गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। निताई गौरांग जय, निताई गौरांग, निताई गौरांग जय, निताई गौरांग, निताई गौरांग जय, निताई गौरांग, निताई गौरांग जय गौर हरि, गौर 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 हरि, जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि, पतित पावन गौर हरि, नदिया विहारी गौर हरि, जय पंचतत्व, जय पंचतत्व, पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व, जय प्रह्लाद नृसिंह, जय प्रह्लाद नृसिंह, अनंत देव जय अनंत देव, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव, सुभद्रा माई जय, जय सुदर्शन, जय राधा माधव अष्ट सखी, गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव Gurudev Jai Jai Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Let us begin chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. I am very happy that we have crossed over the second most dense chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The most dense would be chapter 13, and chapter 2 is the second most dense chapter. And it also, in a way, tells you what all we are going to study in the remaining 16 chapters. So let's do a little bit of test and see how much information do you all remember. Can anyone answer this question? That which are the two processes of yoga which the Lord mentions in chapter 2? I repeat the question.
Yes.
Which are the two yogic processes mentioned by Krishna in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita?
Prabhu, can I reply, Prabhu?
Yes, or someone else can also reply.
Okay,
But
okay.
no, I'm okay. You reply. No issues. Please go ahead.
Prabhu, it is Sankhya Yoga and Buddhi Yoga.
Correct. And my next question to someone else would be, what is the name that Srila Prabhupada uses for Buddhi Yoga in chapter 2? I repeat my question. What is the name Srila Prabhupada uses for Buddhi Yoga in chapter 2? Anyone else who can recall?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Oh, yes, Chidambar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is it being Sthita Prajna or it's not applicable? It's not that.
No, Prabhuji, it's not being Sthita Prajna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sorry.
But good try, Prabhu. Other devotees? There was a class dedicated to this part as why Srila Prabhupada, uses this term in place of Buddhi Yoga.
Prabhuji, is it action in Krishna consciousness?
Is Mataji close by and is she giving you the tip, Prabhuji?
No, Prabhuji, not like that.
Okay.
You had told this, Prabhuji. Because of that only I'm remembering.
No, that's very fine. Very nice. Yes, so the correct answer is action in Krishna consciousness is the term Srila Prabhupada uses to describe Buddhi Yoga. So now, just for the benefit of all the devotees who are present right now, and those who would be watching it on YouTube and at a later stage also as a recording, just understand that initially, for 6 or 7 verses, Arjun continues his lamentation. Krishna expresses his surprise, and around 9th or 10th verse, eventually he says, Karpanya dosho prahata swabhav, that now I am overtaken by my miserly nature. So I, take your shelter. Shishyaste aham shadhimam tvam prapanne. I take your shelter, I am surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So lamentation, Arjun's lamentation led him to take shelter of the Lord as the spiritual master. And then onwards from 11th verse number till 30th, Krishna talks about Sankhya Yoga, which was analytical study of the nature of his spirit. And the approach taken is by negation. Krishna uses many examples, and he then says uh, things like Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dehati pavakah. So he uses the term na again and again to explain how to decipher or how to perceive spirit. by distinguishing it from the temporary and impermanent. So, the process of distinguishing permanent from impermanent is that analytical process which is called Sankhya Yoga. And then one is encouraged to associate with the permanent and discouraged to associate with the asat, which is impermanent. So that was Sankhya Yoga. By constantly knowing that only soul is permanent and everything else around is subject to change, a person gradually, develops affinity towards permanent, and then he doesn't feel bewildered when things change around him. All right. So that is a philosophical uh, approach for this yogic process. Then the Lord talks from 31 to 37 verse numbers about the duties of a Kshatriya. This is another way to encourage Arjun. I discussed how there are many upadharma which we take when we take body. So one of them is basis your varna, another is basis your ashram. So if you are a grahast, then you have a different dharma. And once you cease to be grahast and you become a vanaprast, then that dharma is not, you know, uh, compulsory or mandatory for you. So, say for example, when you are a grahast, it is expected that you will create progeny. So that's a dharma, santati. If you are a grahast, it's a prerequisite that you perform vivaha samskar. Then only you will be called a grahastha. But when you enter vanaprastha, then the same process of creating progeny or giving birth to children or to the child, that becomes a dharma, that now you should not engage into it. So same thing, something that was dharma in grahastha can become adharma in vanaprastha. And then once you take to the final ashram, sannyas ashram, then you were staying in a same house with your wife, but now you can't do that. So the dharma, which was dharma for varnashram, the same thing would become forbidden in sannyas ashram. So, depending on which social occupation you are in, which is varna, and which, how to put it, Prabhupada uses a term, it's slipping from my mind right now, that, it is based on your temperamental proclivity, which means how you are inclined, how do you, what is the direction of your tendency. Basis that you get the varna, and then you also get the occupation. So the ashram is one, varna is another. Basis this, your dharma keeps on getting defined and redefined. So that one should keep in mind. So from 31 to 37, Krishna, tells Arjun that you should follow the dharma of a Kshatriya. So then he moves on to talk about Buddhi Yoga, which goes up to somewhere around 52, 53. And then Arjun asks about Sthita Prajna. And up to then, verse number 72, Krishna talks about the qualities of Sthita Prajna, the power of senses and mind and intellect, and how it is important that we curb, them in the beginning of our spiritual life or in our practice. So this is how this chapter 2 was, predominantly two approaches to yoga. And you know after Buddhi Yoga, one who practices Buddhi Yoga is called Sthita Prajna. And Arjun asks about his characteristics. So this way it got, this is the broad summary of this. Now, today we're going to discuss something which is highly misunderstood, and that is called Karma Yoga. I'm very happy that all of us are here, and we are going to, remove our misconceptions through these classes. Perhaps next 3 or 4 classes, or at max 5 sessions would go at max to chapter 3. But after these 5 sessions, you will not have any confusion ever about what is Karma Yoga. And then you will also realize that in the outside world, what people call Karma Yoga is something, sorry, completely different. So, Mataji, please put up on the screen verse number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Arjuna Vacha. ज्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव. Translation. O Janardhan, Arjun said, O Janardhan, O Keshav, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? Now you have to recall, when did he say this? Where did he say this? Currently, we do not know. So 31 to 37 was somewhere a mention of fruitive work. That you be situated in your ashram and you do activities aligned with that. And then Buddhi Yoga was there, wherein the Lord places the importance of doing something not for victory. Labha alabho, jaya ajayo. Victory or defeat doesn't matter. Gain or loss doesn't matter. That was the aspect of Buddhi Yoga. Prior to that, Krishna was talking about fruitive activity. So what were those verses? So you remember or you recall that when Krishna says, if you win, you will enjoy the heavenly kingdom here. If you die, then also the gates of heaven are open for you. So these are the fruit of the labor being shown to Arjun. However, if you do not do your prescribed duty, then people will, defame your name, and they will say that you ran away from the battlefield. And due to that, you will feel extremely hurt, because for a Kshatriya, an insult is worse than death. Fruitive, loss and gain. He highlights both. Gain in terms of heavenly kingdom, gain in terms of earthly kingdom, and then he highlights loss in terms of image loss, insult, value loss. Everything would be, you will lose all the prestige that you have earned, and that would be intolerable for a Kshatriya. So that's fruitive. And then Krishna says, what? Asthita prajna doesn't care. So instantly Arjun, what did he think? Okay, then let people defame me. I will not engage into this warfare. This is a very, very natural inference one can draw. Please remember, what I have just stated is slightly complex. If you have not understood it, please raise your hand and ask me again. Because I was slightly discouraged when I asked very simple questions on chapter 2, and I couldn't see many hands up to answer. That is like, of course, needless to say that I like this Bhagavad Gita class more than the Marwari class that I do on Saturday morning. And the reason is because somewhere I genuinely feel that you are keen to understand and keen to learn. On top of it, all of you are highly educated as well. So you have made notes in your college life. You have made, various. You have worked on derivation, formulae, etc., and you have spent time on those things. Therefore, you know. You are dealing with missiles at the end of the day. So I'm sure from F equal to ma to angular momentum to God knows what not, you have been through all that. So your ability to grasp is already there. Then why am I not seeing that brilliance, materialized in this case? And the only reason I see is that you like the class, you come for the class. I know it's a small group, but then you're not coming prepared and you're not revising sufficiently. That's the only two things. Those are the only two things I can see. And this is a weekly class. So if 1 hour class is there, I expect at least 3 hours, 1 hour pre-reading and 2 hours for understanding, digesting, etc. Then questions will come. Intelligent questions would come. So I request that please, at least 4 hours you can give to reading. Prabhu, are you saying something?
Not very clear, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I
Text
can't hear
one,
you.
yeah, text one was not very clear what you told. Can you please?
Yeah, I can elaborate again, no problem. I am saying you go to, Mataji, go to chapter 2, text number 33, 34, 35. Scroll down. Chapter 2. Yeah. Scroll down to 33, 34, 35 verse number. Yeah. So look at how the Lord is encouraging Arjun to do his prescribed duty. So he's saying, O Parth, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening the door of the heavenly planets. If, however, you do not perform, Mataji, go to a little bit up, 31, verse number 31. That's it. Considering your specific duty as Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement than fighting on religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. O Parth, happy are the Kshatriya, we have read it. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for forgetting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you, O son of Kunti? Either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. This is a complete, uh, this bunch of 7 verses is a very, it looks like a detour that Krishna was talking about permanent, impermanent, and one should be situated in permanence like that. And then all of a sudden, he took it's like a tangent. He went on to a tangent, and he described the benefit of doing prescribed duty. So that is falling in the bracket of fruitive activity. He's highlighting the benefits and the disadvantages. It is very easy to misunderstand. But okay, Krishna, I don't need that heavenly kingdom. I don't need this earthly kingdom at the cost of hurting my own people. I don't need it. I don't want to do it. And I'm okay accepting the infamy as well. This is how we all deal when we feel that, boss, if I do this activity, it's going to hurt people I love. So let them make fun of me. Let me not get, what the great profit that I could get out of it. So fruitive. He's looking at result, the fruits of labor. And Krishna highlighted both plus and minus. He tells the plus towards the end. He highlights the minus in almost 4 or 5 verses. And in both, he's just saying, whether you listen to me and fight, or you fight for the, for the fruitive results, at least it is better than not fighting. So there are 3 stages: no action, action for fruitive activities, and then action in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is telling Arjun, no action is not good, Arjun. Either fight for the kingdom, better than that is fight because I am asking you to do. Because if a Kshatriya does not fight, and and not just Kshatriya, anybody who is a spiritual practitioner must know what is his dharma, and he should do that dharma. So this is one part. The second part is when he told Arjun, doesn't matter, you are a soul. And you should not be bothered about whether you get victory or you get defeat. Jaya Jayo. So Arjun got confused. Mataji, now go back to the first verse. This is Arjun's question. And we will very quickly read Srila Prabhupada's purport to, you know, gain. I mean, it has been explained, but I'm just saying that it is better to be doubly sure. So let's go to the purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna has very elaborately described the constitution of the soul in the previous chapter with a view to delivering his intimate friend Arjun from the ocean of material grief. And the path of realization has been recommended, Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of the Lord Krishna. But without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place where one may acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent public. Arjun also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligence in spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place. In other words, he wanted to, this is the main thing, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga or work in Krishna consciousness in this chapter. So, Buddhi Yoga will now be elaborated by the Lord. So, here in this, Mataji, you can now remove this and go to the answer given by the Lord. Here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has not talked about the fruitive work aspect, and he has elaborated on the Buddhi Yoga aspect of it, wherein he highlighted the consciousness of a conditioned soul, which is us, wherein we can use Krishna consciousness as an excuse. Devotees are perpetually busy in spreading the message of the Lord. They are not eating, sleeping, wasting time, etc. And through the example of Arjun, he just highlighting that can somehow the pain of killing one's own people be avoided in the name of spirituality. I can go on and give many examples of practical life, but uh, there is no need for that because the Lord is now going to explain that mindset in the next verse. But Arjun is continuing right now. Vyamishrena vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vad nishchitya yena shreyo ahamapnuyam. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. That's fine. That's a standard ideal approach how a disciple should deal with the spiritual master. Text 3 Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Loke asmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjun, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. This is the distinction. The first part of the class where I asked you for the revision uh, and I was highlighting. So, if you ever want a summary of chapter 2, this 3.3 instantly gives that summary. There are two classes of men who try for self realization. One class takes the approach of analytical study. Another class work in the work in Krishna consciousness. So these are the two classes. Let's go to the next one. This is a very, very important verse. I might wrap up the class at this or maybe next verse. न कर्मणामन आरम्भन् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोष्णुते न च सन्न्यासनादेव सिद्धं समाधिगच्छति. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reactions, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. I repeat, not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So, I will tell you at two different levels. At one level, it's more physical. So, a student, has been given some homework, he hasn't done it. Next day, he feigns, sickness, doesn't go to school, and he thinks he has gotten saved from the situation. Possibility is that he has gotten saved from the admonishment and the insult which the teacher would have done. That is a possibility. But the certainty is that his learning has gotten compromised. One, he hasn't done the homework. Two, he has missed out on what will be taught today in the class. That is a reaction of abstaining from work. This is a normal example. The bigger example is when you should speak and when you do not speak, or when you should do something and you do not do, then you hurt one or other stakeholder and you incur sinful reaction. Bhishma Pitama should have stood up when Draupadi was being disrobed. Dronacharya should have stood up, and same for Kripacharya. Srila Prabhupada mentions in purports that they were killed because that sinful reaction was heavy upon them. When your wife, with her eyes, just give you a stare, and in front of your parents, and you shudder, so to say, and you don't speak up when her behavior is not up to the mark regarding your parents, and you don't stand up, don't think there will be no reaction. Today, your parents have, taken that insult. Tomorrow, you will also be taking the same insult. Because what goes around comes around. It is just that we think, no, right now, let me enjoy. But it does come around. And this is just one example. It can be other way around as well. It's not just wife, it can be husband also. You don't want to upset your life partner. because she will stop, giving you the pleasure, or he will stop giving you the things that he brings to the table. Both the partners bring value to the table, right? One may bring in terms of money, one may bring in terms of service, but both are bringing. But sometimes we become slaves of, you know, sense gratification. It's all right to cause inconvenience to parents, yet not upset wife. This is na karmana manarambhan. You should have stood up. You didn't, which means you did not initiate the action. Na karmanam anarambhan. You didn't initiate. Don't think reaction will not come. It will come. I'm recently going through a phase, not that I have any problem with that phase, where someone close to me, that person, I kept on cautioning him for years that by not doing this, you are, paving the way for future sinful reactions. But he didn't listen to me. Today he is in a crisis where the whole thing has boomeranged, and it has boomeranged into a severe reaction. And it will happen. It's just a matter of time. And it will happen unsought. You won't search for it. You won't ask for it. All your logic, everything will be put aside. I always wonder, when a sinful reaction comes, dear devotees, do you know it is so calculated? It is so calculated that it is a notch up. Just, notch up is not a notch up, is actually a lot of gap. It is barely greater, just a little greater than your ability to counter. How much frustrating can it be? You potentially think you can control it. That's the illusion, like cancer. And you put all your efforts, and as long as you have to tolerate that sinful reaction, it will always be greater than your power to counter. And then on top of it, Krishna is so amazingly, you know, he optimally utilizes his resources. So he doesn't waste. If you know you can be killed by one tablet, he will not even give you 1.25. He's very, very precise. Everything. Suppose, as they say, in previous life, if you have taken loan from someone and he hasn't paid or some other things, then that person takes birth in your family as your son. Then you spend on son, and then he does not serve you when you become old. That's an example given in Shastra. It doesn't mean all sons or all daughters are like that. But if you have to suffer at the hands of somebody else because you caused suffering to them, it will come in the form of disease, disaster, destruction, decay, delay, all of that. Suffocation. Like medical science will tell you, we do not know why asthma occurs, why asthmatic attacks occur. We don't know why somebody feels suffocated, why some people have claustrophobia, others don't. Some have, phobia of height, some have phobia of fire. They'll keep coming. These days, if you haven't heard that thing of when Lord Shiva chopped off Lord Brahma's head, fifth head, and though he did something, an activity which was aligned with dharma, that head wouldn't leave the one point of the trident. That famous song is there. ब्रह्मा जी का एक शिव शीश काट के सदा शिव दोष मुक्त होने जाने कहाँ कहाँ भटके, जहाँ भी वो पहुंचे कपाल ने न पीछा छोड़ा, रहा वो तो शिव जी के हाथ से ही सटके। यही है आनंद, समथिंग लाइक यही है माधवपुरी, यही है आनंद वन, पृथ्वी पे होते हुए पृथ्वी से हटके, दोष मुक्त हुए यहाँ मुक्तेश्वर शिव, और विश्वनाथ रह गए काशी में सिमट के। Ultimately, Lord Shiva had to come to this place called Kashi. When he took a dip there, then that sinful reaction left him. Indra also suffered like that. The proportion in which we incur sin, in that, which means that it's not that we won't succeed, it's just that number of obstacles that come in your way, that is due to those mild or minor reactions. So they pop up, they disappear. Some pop up and they linger on. Some never leave you for lifetime because you gave lifetime pain to someone. Same proportion. So his Arjun is being told, na karmana man, don't think that by you will not fight, how can there be reaction? No, there will be reaction. If a renunciate, person, or like, can one achieve freedom from reaction? Nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. I give up. Sir, you give up, but you do not know. You can only give up physical possessions. Even if you go to a jungle, you are never alone. The six senses are there. They are always there. You have to first purify them. Once they become your friend, then you take renunciation. That would work. So, in these 4 or 5, verses and purports, you will find that Prabhupada is, and this is, 1 second, let me see what's the time. Yeah, we have 15 minutes. So I will dedicate 10 minutes to this and 5 minutes to the next verse. This is the part of what I call spiritual literacy. That Prabhupada is telling us how majority of institutions based on spiritual practices, they are ridiculed and people don't show trust in them. Please understand, I am not talking about established corrupt institutions. I'm only talking about those who are trying to do some genuine work. Otherwise, with money, man, and material, one can run 5-star hotels type NGOs, and they can make a hell lot of money because that's their objective. So I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the institutions where people are given an environment to practice. So if you join Krishna consciousness and you break one of the 4 regulative principles, then people will not just make fun of you, they will make fun of the process. Oh, you are from, ISKCON. And now it's not you, it's the institution. So the popular misconception is that people who are escapists, who don't want to take the trouble of facing the real life on ground, they take shelter of God. That's why in Western countries, when they see, these saffron clad people, they say, go man, get a job. And they think they are being very, very religious by saying that. They take immense pride in doing a job. And that is the next week when I will talk about the verses after verse number 5. 1 second, please. Verse number 5. Then you will understand why am I giving you this background. When someone works 14 hours a day, cracking big exams, or excelling at startups, or managing big empires, that person is encouraged, appreciated so much. Everybody looks up to that person. This is our consciousness, current consciousness. But a person who wakes up at 3:30, takes care of his body, chants Krishna's most powerful holy names, serves the deities, cooks for the Lord, works for 8 hours, not more than that, to ensure that body and soul can be together, and dedicates remaining time in preaching the message. That person has a very, very tough life, physically exhausting. But it is true, people are not wrong. Many, many people come to these institutions and then they stop working. It is a saying in our community, in the devotee community, that there are two types of people in ISKCON. Those who are having a good time, that's one category. And second category is those who are serious about going back to Krishna. I'll tell you, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, you will tell me, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, and we will overeat. And then we will not be able to get up early. And then the whole cycle will continue. I will tell you, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, and because you need to know the behavior, the conduct. Bhalo na khaibo, bhalo na peribo. Gramya katha na shunibo, na bolibo. What is Gramya katha? News. So we break rules. It's not that you don't watch news. I have seen Gopal Krishna Maharaj, looking at Times of India, but the way he would look at, he knew beforehand what does he need to look at. Rest of the things he won't even give time. Just flipping through the pages, he will see things and that's it, done, out. Yukta Vairagya. So when we learn all the jingo or language, so to say, jargon, big things, big words, and we struggle at the basic level of execution, then people can see through us. When people see through us, then they say, boss, you are a cheat. And hence, they generalize it for everyone who takes to Krishna consciousness. And this is not just now. Lord Chaitanya wrapped up his divine pastimes in 1534. From then onwards, there were many apasampradayas, non-bona fide cults which popped up. Many of them would dress like gopis. Many of them would engage in, sex with multiple partners in the name of Ras. And all the educated people had given up on this whole thing of cult of Lord Chaitanya. It's only when Bhaktivinoda Thakur came. It doesn't mean there weren't sincere practitioners. That is not the case. Sincere practitioners were there, but they were far and few. He organized it. He wrote books and he fought valiantly to, defeat the logic of those people. And then he wrote books to establish what is the right thing. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is known as the seventh what do you say, Goswami in our, parampara. The 6 Goswamis are Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, etc. But the 7th Goswami is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because he revived the otherwise infamous, philosophy, or wrongly taught philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And this perception continues till date. Ram Nam Japna, Paraya Mal Apna is one. Dam Maro Dam, Mit Jaye Gam, Bolo Subhe Sham. That's also because the hippies were doing that. Prabhupada purified them, but there were many who were taking undue advantage. So when you continue unethical behavior or improper conduct, and you are connected with any institution, then it's not you, it's the institution which has to face the music, so to say. It reflects on the institution. And the largest perception, like Prabhupada is using in the first purport of first verse, he says, sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood as inertia. Sit in a lonely place and chant. Without understanding the proper philosophy of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is saying nobody should do that. And there's one very famous quote of Prabhupada where he says, work now, samadhi later. Work now, samadhi later means do your prescribed duty. Get fully trained up. When the mind is completely satisfied in the service of the Lord, then only you will start relishing chanting alone. Till then, and therefore always be surrounded with devotees. Chant in their association. When nobody is there, then you can at least place the Mahamantra in front of you. Look at it and chant. But stay surrounded with devotees, or books for that matter. So this is the major misconception, that we are escapists, we shirk work, we want to avoid it as much, we procrastinate, and we don't face the world. Most of it is true, because majority of practitioners are not sincere. They are fallen. And more than fallen, it's okay to be fallen. It's bad to be cunning. They are not only fallen, they want to exploit the resources of the institution and have a good time. And since in the past these people have done some service to Krishna, Krishna tolerates them for a very, very long time. Lord kills in two ways, dear devotees. One is where he directly kills. Other is where he gives great, great opulence to these people. He exhausts the piety of these people very quickly. That's another way of Lord doing justice. I'm telling you something which might slightly dishearten you, but you should know this as a rule. The wheel of justice turns very slow. Ravan was causing havoc. Ravan was causing havoc for more than a yug, which is like, I'm talking about Satyug. He was born at that time. Lord Ram came towards the end of Treta. Which means that you can say 4, 8, 12 and 16. So 16 lakh years plus almost 10 lakh, which means like at least 25 lakhs years. Ravan was troubling. Then Lord Ram came. Because these people earned piety first. Then they cause mischief. If you ask me what is the worst part of material existence, one is false ego, of course. Second is this system of people earning first and then using that piety to trouble others. So the famous thing in most of the serials that you would have seen on devotional subjects is Lord Brahma, along with all the demigods, reaches at the shore of the ocean, prays to Lord Vishnu, and sometimes Lord Vishnu appears, sometimes a voice comes. And the voice is, "You all don't be afraid. His time has not come yet. When the right time comes, I will appear." Why can't you kill him right away? No, how can I kill him right away? He has earned it. He is spending his own earning. When Indra was busy looking at Urvashi and Rambha and Menaka and God knows what not, at that time Hiranyakashipu was standing on the tip of the toe. How can I reward Indra? When he will trouble my pure devotee who never gives time to any sense enjoyment, at that time I will kill him. Not once. Same answer for during comes. So many Brahmins were killed. Same thing in the case of Ravan. The wheel of justice turns very slow. If I were to, if I am asked, why wouldn't I want, why don't I want to live here? My answer will be because here people earn piety and then misuse it and cause, great suffering to the mankind. Putin has some earning, so is Zelensky. That North Korea king, he also. So has all these people have huge piety to back them up. Donald Trump, Rahul Gandhi, all of them. Then you have to see that even if my conduct is improved today, I'm not backed up with sufficient bank balance of piety. What can I do? I can feed myself, but that's it. And you can't say it is unfair because Krishna is never unfair to anyone. It's like fire hurts, it's like water drowns. Similarly, when earned piety is misused, then people suffer. I had $100,000 in my account. I decided to burn $2,000. Big deal. Wasting. पाप का घड़ा भरा नहीं है. Famous expression. Very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Not all of us are pure devotees. Forget about being pure. We are just beginning. Therefore, one should realize padam padam vipadam. There is danger on every step in this place. So don't come back. Every Bhagavad Gita class must end with this kind of a note. Don't come back ever again. This place hurts. I hope you understood this aspect of how we are perceived as work shirkers, as inefficient people, as people who want to live on the donations of other people. That's the image. And that image is not fully incorrect because majority of people are actually doing it. Still, you don't bother. You stick to the philosophy. Don't worry about the bottle, worry about the honey in the bottle. Process is perfect, devotees. People may or may not be perfect. What I have told you in these classes is perfect. But I, the one who is telling you, may not be perfect, and I am not perfect. But yes, I am better than yesterday. I may be horrible in your estimation today, but in my own estimation, my part of my unearth is getting killed every day. And that's how I look at life. That despite a lot of filth in me, I know that the process works. Thank you very much. I'm over time by 3 minutes or so. So we will not take question answers. Next week, we will quickly move to the technical aspect of Karmayoga, what is the definition of it, and how it is performed. The whole chapter is dedicated to that. Very, very happy to revise my own thing and to be sharing it with you. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की जय, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय, निताई गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि, हरे कृष्ण, धन्यवाद
Hare
प्रणाम.
Dandavat Pranam.
See you all next week.
Thank you so much.